purpose of the project was to build a parabolic satellite to reflect sunlight and heat a marshmallow that was placed in the focus.
A parabola is the graph of a quadratic function. It is a set of all points in a plane that are the same distance from a fixed point, the focus, as they are from a line, the directrix. The directrix of a parabola is the fixed line used to define a parabola. Each point of the parabola is the same distance from the focus and the directrix. The focus is also a point of the parabola that helps define it, except the focus is inside of the parabola and is a point instead of a line like the directrix. The vertex of a parabola is the point where the function for the parabola reaches a maximum or a minimum value. The parabola intersects its axis of symmetry at the vertex. Our equation for this was y equals 1/25 x squared. I think our group generated the most heat just because we used a lot of good materials that really captured in the sun's rays, and we also built our parabola in real life really close to the equation that we had designed. So I think that really helped the sun go right to the focus and right to the marshmallow, and that's why our parabola generated the most heat. I think some of the groups whose parabola didn't generate a lot of heat was kind of due to the fact that their focus wasn't directly where it should have been in the equation, and also that the materials that they used to build it weren't as reflective or weren't as absorbent to the sun rays as ours was, and that others that generated a lot of heat were, and that's why maybe their design didn't work as well.
It's actually smoking.
There is currently steam coming off of our marshmallow.
Yes!
It's very exciting for all.
Some design elements that really made our parabola so successful was the Gorilla Tape over the tongue depressors that made the base structure for our parabola, and also placing the Mylar on top of that because the Mylar is very absorbent, and it really helped the marshmallow toast because it was so absorbent towards the sun.
140.
If you can see that, it's at 124 right now.
Really?
140. I don't know if they can see that.
Julie's crying right now.
140.
Tears of joy.
Oh my god!
This is awesome.
Because Marta, how frustrating was that?
160.
Nuh-uh.
Our equation was pretty exact to our parabola, and I think that's part of the reason why we did have so much success was because, like we learned, all of the points went right to the focus, and that was the sun, so it melted the marshmallow really quickly.
Where to go?
Okay.
A piece of trash. This is a piece of trash. Our first attempt.
Definitely start with the equation and get a really good idea of what the equation looks like and how to build it, and get a feel for a bunch of different materials to build your parabola, and then find one that really works well. And that's how our group did it, and it seemed to work out pretty well for us. The biggest struggle was probably figuring out what materials we could and could not use, because we tried a bunch of different ways to make the parabola, and then we finally found the way that worked, and that was with the Mylar and with the cardboard and the tape. So definitely that, and our marshmallow melted really quickly, so we probably should have done something differently to hold it up.
So for future students coming into this project, we have a ton of things that you could definitely think about before you do your project that are really important to consider. First of all, even though Mr. Walsh says it all the time, really is to start early, because if you procrastinate, you're just not going to get it done. And if it doesn't work, you don't have the extra time to compensate. You're going to want to brainstorm beforehand, so know your materials, know kind of your idea, what you want to do with it. Definitely research your materials. Try and find like the best, not just the first thing that you see. Communication's so important, so definitely make a Facebook group so you can get into contact with your group members easily. Talk about meeting times and make sure that it works for everybody. And I'd say the biggest thing is just not to get frustrated.
From looking at our graph, you can see that at first our temperature skyrocketed up, but it did not continue at a steady increase. Instead, it often dropped up and down, but we ended at a high. From our graph, we can conclude that the temperature did rise, but it did not continue to rise, continue to decrease, or keep a steady temperature.